The narrative heats up again. This time it's not about being seen together, but why these two names started to be mentioned in the same context when Cha Eun-woo's tax issues are discussed again. Many ask, the coincidence of algorithms? Or is there a common thread? Warning: important note. Until now, there is no official evidence linking Moon Jae-young to Cha Eun-woo's tax affairs. What is circulating is the public interpretation of the pieces of information put together. Bomb Chapter 22. Why did Moon Jae-young's name come up? When Cha Eun-woo's tax issues are brought up again, including the old archives being re-viralized, some viral content juxtaposes her name with Moon Jae-young, usually via sensational thumbnail/title, compilation of old moments from narrative relationships behind the scenes. As a result, in the eyes of the ordinary public, the impression is formed that both are in the same story, although the topics are different. Magnifying glass tilted left. Chapter 23. Mechanism of associating algorithms. This phenomenon often occurs on social media. One big topic came up: Cha Eun-woo's tax issues. Old relevant content, chemistry with Moon Jae-young, is recommended. Creators combine two topics for engagement. Results: backhand index pointing right. Two separate narratives feel like one chain of events. Brain. Chapter 24. From correlation to as if connection. The public tends to fill information gaps when there are many names, and the name is often associated historically. Then comes the leap of logic. Backhand index pointing right. If you often appear together, there must be a relationship. In fact, correlation is not equal to causality. Balance scale. Chapter 25. Facts versus narrative, which can be ascertained. Cha Eun-woo's tax issues have been discussed and clarified by the relevant parties. The two have worked together in the unproven Moon Jae-young's involvement in tax issues, the existence of a project or relationship related to the context. Fire. Chapter 26. Why does it feel one context? Due to three main factors: timings, old topics re-raised during the draft, visual and editing, content that deliberately unites two names, lack of direct clarification. Speculation space becomes wider. This combination makes the public feel that there is a hidden red thread, although there is no evidence yet. Pushpin. Chapter 27. Risk of misinterpretation. Combining two different issues can have an impact, dragging names that are not directly related, forming a false public perception, prolonging the life of rumors without a solid foundation. In this case, Moon Jae-young risks being affected by the image even though there is no factual connection to the tax issue. End arrow. Chapter 28. Hot conclusion. Are they really in context? In fact, there is no evidence linking the two in tax matters. Backhand index pointing right. Why does it feel like one context? Because algorithms, content packaging, and public chemistry history since. Fire. Bottom line. What is happening is more like a merging of narratives by the public than a single, completely interconnected event. Enduring, old issues continue to be raised. These two names remain popular. Collision. This combined context will continue to emerge, although in fact this is not necessarily the case. Fire. Continued hottest. Context collision phase. When Cha Eun-woo and Moon Jae-young's tax issues really collide in public space. Fire. Once the public realized that two different narratives were starting to feel like one story, a new phase emerged, referred to by netizens as the context collision phase. This is a moment when two issues that are not directly related constantly come together, creating the perception that there is a real connection. Warning once again. There is no official evidence linking Moon Jae-young to Cha Eun-woo's tax issues. What happens is the phenomenon of merging narratives in public spaces. Collision. Chapter 29. Explosive point. When all appear together. In recent times, the public saw a pattern that was considered strange. Content on Cha Eun-woo's tax issue resurfaces. At the same time, an old video of Moon Jae-young together went viral. Netizens' comments began to combine the two topics in one discussion. The result? Backhand index pointing right, no longer two separate stories, but one big narrative in the public eye. Puzzle Piece Chapter 30. One Screen Effect. This phenomenon is also referred to as the one-screen effect. Backhand index pointing right when two different issues continuously appear in one view, feed, video, news. The public's brain perceives them as interrelated. Frequent examples: thumbnails showing two names at once. Sensational title that combines tax issues plus old relationships. Video compilation of true beauty inserted in news content. Without realizing it, this forms a pseudo-connection. Brain Chapter 31. Why is the public easily influenced? There are three main reasons. 1. High popularity. Cha Eun-woo and Moon Jae-young already have a huge fan base. 2. History of strong chemistry. Since True Beauty, the public has become accustomed to seeing them as a couple. 3. Lack of direct clarification. Since Cha Eun-woo is in the military, there is no quick response to straighten out the narrative. Backhand index pointing right, this combination makes speculation develop without breaks. Warning Chapter 32. From perception to mass belief. At first, it was just a guess. Then it's an opinion. Then it turns into a belief for some. This is the dangerous phase. Backhand index pointing right when something unproven starts to be considered definitely true, just because it comes up often. Some netizens even started conclude without evidence, reinforcing narratives that are not necessarily accurate. Chart decreasing Chapter 33. Direct impact on imagery. Although there are no new facts yet, the effect is real. For Cha Eun-woo, the issue of taxes continues to revive. Public focus shifts from clarification to new speculation. Moon Jae-young joined dragged in a narrative that is not his domain. Risk of public misperception. Magnifying glass tilted left. Chapter 34. What really happened? When viewed objectively, no evidence of direct linkage, no official statement, no valid data linking the two issues. Backhand index pointing right, what exists is the accumulation of content, interpretation, and repetition. Fire Chapter 35. Constructed context. Not happening. This is the essence of the whole phenomenon. Backhand index pointing right, this context does not appear due to new facts. Backhand index pointing right, the context is shaped by the way information is presented and consumed. The more often two names appear together, the stronger the perception that they are related. Chapter 36. The most important part. Backhand index pointing right, are Cha Eun-woo and Moon Jae-young really in the same context of tax issues? Crossmark, there is no evidence to support that. Backhand index pointing right, why does it feel like yes? Heavy checkmark, due to context collision plus algorithm plus public history plus draft timings. Fire provisional final conclusion. This is no longer just an ordinary rumor. This is a vivid example of how